And a very special thank you to each and every one of you that is tuned in on television, on radio, on Facebook, those that are here in the audience most especially. So much has gone on across the world and the nation, but you come out to gain inspiration and to lend your voice towards freedom cause. We appreciate you. This climate change is real. When you see the cyclone hitting in Mozambique, you can say, what does that have to do with me in Chicago? Well, the globe is round. It's a spherical shape. It's non-prejudicial. The climate has been altered around the world. Many of the major insurance companies are no longer doing flood and housing disaster insurance on the coastal areas of our nation. You're going to hear more about cyclones and more about hurricanes and more about tornadoes because the temperature is rising. I had to remind my son just this past week that 30 years ago, when I was in a military boarding school in Indiana and we came to Chicago to march in the St. Patrick's Day parade, that we still had snow on the ground in Chicago, and it would snow in March in Chicago. And I'm the luckiest man on earth. My mother is born on St. Patrick's Day. Happy birthday again, Mom. I want to say a very special thank you to my father, Reverend Jackson, and for all of you that keep him in your prayers as he continues on his journey. In brief, this is the 400th year of Africans in America, 1619 to 2019. Let us always be mindful of that, the sacrifices that we've made, the journey that we've taken. I see my colleague, Mr. James Gomez, in attendance today. We were in India just 7 weeks ago. We were honored to be a part of the 150th anniversary celebration of the Mahatma Gandhi. We thank God for him. This is the 100th anniversary. This would be the 90th birthday anniversary of the Reverend Martin Luther King. But now, most importantly, where are we today? It's been a long time in the coming. And thank God that we're here. Early voting has begun here in Chicago. We have our final voting date on April 2nd. No matter which way it goes, we would have won. An African-American woman will be the next mayor of the city of Chicago. And I can see a day where we have an African-American female as the president of the county board and an African-American female as the mayor of Chicago at the same time. Can we all just get along? It's been 182 years in the making, Justice Hill. 182 years in the making. Brothers and sisters, we have work to do. Now, what's one last thing that's on my agenda for the day? I am troubled, like many of you, regarding these airlines crashing. 2 planes, they crash, only to look at the fine print to realize there were safety upgrades on the plane that were an option. Someone withheld safety upgrades. But here's a parallel I want you to think about for the rest of the week. You can have whatever sticker you want on the plane. You can call it Indonesian Air, China Air, American Airlines, United Air, Delta Air, it doesn't matter. If that plane is sold by Boeing International, if that plane is sold by Airbus, those are Airbus aircrafts. They have a safety and a maintenance record that follows them all over the world. And I am glad that they have gone in to recover the black box and they corn off all of the things that need to pick up every piece of scrap. They call the international safety boards to come together. That's very important. Why can't we use, I don't want to fix the blame, I want to fix the problem. Why can't we use that same procedure anytime a young person is shot and killed by an officer? What's the controversy? It should be of international concern. We should get all the recordings released immediately. We shouldn't hold up a tape for 400 days. We shouldn't pay a family before we know what was the cause of death and who killed the child. We shouldn't have a superintendent of police going to New York City to be on a talk show talking about a young man that was assaulted somewhere in Chicago and the case is still open. Shame on you. And I don't care who wins in this mayoral race. I've made my choice, that's already clear. But our superintendent of police, you're going. And I can assure you that. I want you to be clear on why we come to Rainbow Push, because we fight for justice. We're not on the sideline. Reverend Martin Luther King was not on the sideline. When he died, my father was not on the sideline. Brothers and sisters, you're going to have scars on your body, but you're going to have a clean soul. You're going to have clean hands. You're going to have dirty hands sometimes, but your heart's going to be right. We want justice right here in the city of Chicago. Today we mourn another officer that has gotten killed off duty. We need help in the city of Chicago. Our young people need work. Our seniors need to have their houses saved. You should not lose your house because of a water bill. You shouldn't lose your license because of a parking ticket. You shouldn't lose your license because you've got a toll road bill. We're going to make a difference. Next up, we're going to have on this Women's Day, and I'm so honored to be here, 50 years after Shirley Chisholm, after she was sworn in New York City as the first African-American female congressperson. We have so much to celebrate. We've got a lieutenant governor that's a female in the state of Illinois, a county board president, about to get a mayor. We've got the minority whip of the House, the majority whip of the House. Women have come up in Chicago. We've got an educator that's now the head of the CPS. Let's turn this ship around. The men have messed it up long enough. It can't get any worse. Let's give somebody else a chance.